Welcome to Million Hour Life Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Botts. Honored to welcome someone who inspired me not only in life, but in the biggest goal of my life, which was running a marathon before I turned 50 years old. Want to welcome today Brian Walsh, leader, motivator, student for life. What's up, Brian? Happy to have you on today, man. How you doing?
Hey, Eric. I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, man. Thanks for taking the time. So let's start with one of the main things I wanted to talk to you about. You were one of the main inspirations for me to achieving my biggest goal in life, which was to run a marathon before I'm 50. Now, I had already had the goal in mind before we met, but I hadn't really wrapped my head around how I was going to do it and what it was going to take to do it before we went to our mutual friend's 40th birthday party. So start with, what were your main motivations or factors that made you go from guy who had never run a marathon to accomplishing some major goals before you did it?
Yeah. So what's really funny is I fell into the marathon goal because of the pandemic.
Okay.
Prior to the pandemic, I would have labeled myself a triathlete. I was doing sprint triathlons, which are short distances, swim, bike, and run. And, COVID hit. I jumped right into let's do something else, right? And Broad Street had gotten canceled. The triathlon got canceled. And then Broad said, the people who organized Broad did a virtual one. And I had joined the Williamstown Badgers, which is a group of triathletes down in Williamstown, New Jersey. And they hosted their own, hey, let's go to the bike path. That's, so many miles. We'll set up some water stations, everything. And it was great. Right. And so I didn't have access to everything. And, I found that I kind of lost my identity because I wasn't doing the triathlon, because there was nothing available. So I needed to find another identity, right? Or challenge myself into something.
That's cool.
And I decided, I was like, you know what? I've read it in one book, A Big Hairy Audacious Goal, Big BHAG, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's do a marathon. I don't care. I'm just going to sign up and figure it out. And so I found, I did the Peloton 18-week program. And we're talking we had talk about terrible timing. We finally scheduled my son's Disney trip middle of August. And I'm at 10 or 12 miles. We were there for 10 days. And so I had to do a 10 miler and a 12 miler in 4 a.m. in Disney on doing loops and loops
in the park, you were running the Disney park to train for your marathon.
Basically, still training, but it just kept in my head I'm gonna do this. There's no question about it. And what's funny is, and I don't know if you experience this, but with marathon training or anything, it's not even physical. It's all mental.
Yep.
And when I got up to 16 and I was supposed to do 18 miles, all of a sudden I couldn't run. And it turned out that I ended up with a neuroma in my foot. And we're talking 3 or 4 weeks prior to the run.
Me too. I was going to a foot doctor, Bri, every week on Thursday to get my foot taped up so I could be sick to my stomach on Friday, realizing that I had to run 20 miles on Saturday when I didn't feel like I could walk to the car great from the doctor's office to my car.
Exactly. And I ended up not running any more than 16 before mine. So and that meant I still had 10 more miles to train for, but I didn't do it. I
gutted it out.
Yeah. So when I got to the run, 16 miles, and then I was like, all right, I'm in uncharted
territory, dude. See, it's funny you say that. I followed the Hal Higbus.
I've heard a lot of good things. Yeah.
So, and the thing was, at the end, you only got to 20 miles.
Yeah.
So in my mind, it was shoot, I don't know if I want to end where I've got a whole other 10K at the end of uncharted territory. So I had similar issues to you with my feet. So when I got to like 15 miles, I started training in a pool and doing aqua jogging where you like keep yourself elevated above the water, but it's not the same thing. If I would do the math, and if it would have taken me an hour and a half to run the amount of time I had to run on the ground, I would make myself do 3 hours of that in the pool to get myself ready for it. But then I did the 20-mile run and said to myself, I got to do 22. Because if I feel like if I have 6 miles, where I can't believe you had 10 miles of uncharted territory, I'm going to get in my head where if I get done and I only have 4 more miles to run, I know I can gut through that last 4 miles.
Yeah.
So crazy to hear that you did 10.
Yeah. And they, you know, and at 18, I slipped and tweaked my knee. Like race day. At race day, I stepped on someone's goo. And and we all know anyone who's done a marathon knows that, like, not only are you dealing with like just running it, but you're going to hit the wall eventually. And then you add on your hip or my knee, right? And my thing is about 3 or 4 miles left, my music went away, right? So I was training with headphones. So all of a sudden I had to hear people cheering for me. And there I am chugging along, and everyone loves to cheer you on, and they read your bib and you got this, Brian. And in my head, goddamn right, I got this.
Hear that?
Yeah, but I was like, shut up, leave me alone. I need to focus. I need to focus, you know?
Yeah.
But that experience was wonderful. Some people are crazy enough to keep doing them. Some people aren't. For me, it's going to be a one and done. I found I eventually did an actual half marathon official run. Obviously, I ran a bunch of them. And Broad Street, which is a 10-miler. So those two are my sweet spots. I love
that.
You know, I just did Broad not too long ago. I'm trying to get to that 10 spot, right? Like once you get 10, you're tenured in. But you know, and then the half marathon distance is just really sweet. It's just another 5K, you know?
Yeah. I think I'm a one and done. I have said that, you know, if someone close to me, you know, my son, my grandson, a family member, a really close friend said to me, like, hey man, I've always wanted to run a marathon. Would you train with me and do it? It would probably take someone else needing to accomplish that goal for me to do it again. I have had thoughts of, so part of my problem was, so I had the music in my ear. I trained without music. One of the people who won the Philadelphia Marathon the year before I ran Atlantic City was kind of coaching me a little bit as I was training. And he said, when you get to your big miles, don't put your headphones on, because God forbid you lose your music that day. You don't want anything in your... So I trained without the music when I got to mile 22. But then the day of the marathon, I figured, you know what? I'll put it in. And if I lose the music, I've already trained without the music. I'll be good. Well, what I didn't realize was I signed up for something that people could follow me along the race path. Well, I didn't realize when I signed up for that, it was going to tell me every mile I ran, how fast I ran that mile, how much I've run total, what I'm on track for. So I ended up, my goals in the beginning of Run the Marathon was, first goal, I want to finish without taking one step of walking. I want to run the entire marathon with no break. Then step 2 was, goal 2 was under 5 hours. And goal 3 was under 4.5 hours. I had no other aspirations. Well, because this thing's telling me in my head how fast I'm running, I'm now halfway through the marathon and I'm on track for under 4 hours.
Oh my God.
Now in my mind, I'm going to start to run and get under 4 hours. And then kind of like you having your tweak in your knee at mile 20, my hip popped. And then I just went, you know what? This wasn't even a goal of mine. I'm going to super slow down and just finish the marathon with my other goals. I can get under 4.5 hours, which was a goal I didn't even know if I could get to when it was under 5. And
that was your big head. That was your big, hairy, audacious goal on top of your big, hairy, audacious
Exactly.
goal.
So I got to my big goal. And of course, me being a silly stoner that I am, I finished. I decided, you know what? I think it'll be cool if I finish at 4 hours and 20 minutes. So I slowed myself down enough that I finished at 4:20. I ran across the finish line as I was.
You were nice and relaxed at 4:20. Relax,
By that time, I really was enjoying. I had a bunch of people show up to cheer me on that I didn't know were going to be there. So as I'm running my last mile, I'm seeing faces in the crowd that are friends and family that I didn't know were going to even be there. So it really was. But now I do think, sometimes I think like, you know what? I was on track. If I just trained a little bit harder, I could get under 4 hours, and that might make me run one more time before I get too old. But most likely I'm one and done with you.
You're competing with yourself all the time, right?
So,
and there
if you're
was
doing anything else in a marathon, you're kidding yourself. It's like you said, it's all mental, and it's all about you and you. That's it.
Yeah. And it's funny, we're talking about this. I heard a quote not too long ago, which I now like. This is something that I subscribe to. Is we don't rise to our goals, we fall to our systems. And you talk about these goals that you had set, right? And then you talk about like, had I trained a little bit harder, or had I done something right? But really your training, all of that preparation, those systems that you subscribe to was what helped you get to that. And that's wonderful. I just finished 3 minutes before you. And guess what, Eric? I'm younger than you. I don't know if you know this, but I'm younger than you, right?
I do. A little bit younger than me.
Yeah.
You're in the rearview mirror by 10 years.
Exactly. And yet, you probably totally could have blown me out of the water, right? So your systems beat my systems, for one.
Well, I can't say my systems beat your systems, because some of my systems were your systems.
Oh, yeah. But that's that's the amazing thing. When we first met, and we're talking about that, right? About those goals and everything, and you said like I helped inspire you to do that, right? The funny thing is, like, all it ever is just taking the first step. That's the hardest thing. What is going to force you to do that first step? And I'm actually, I am there right now for my next goal and my next like task or something that I wanted to conquer was there's an MS ride in November. In November or September, I forget. Maybe it's September. And it's 75 miles. So it's Cherry Hill to Brigantine.
Wow.
And the first step would be to sign up. And I keep saying, I'm going to sign up. I'm going to sign up. And then I step away, and then I do it, right? Like, and then I come up with all of these excuses. Why not? Right? Like, do I really want to commit to this? I'm in a cutting program. Like me, I'm all about being active, right? Yeah. And like I've decided, especially post-pandemic, and remember how I mentioned, like I would have saw myself as a triathlete, right?
Triathlete, not marathon.
And then I need to refocus and reassess. So now I've gone totally generic. I just want to stay active, right? And by doing that, by just detaching my identity, makes me so happy all the time with any progress or even lack of progress. I'm like, I gained 10 pounds, but throughout that entire time, I was still active. I'm still stretching. I'm still lifting. I'm still running or something, right? Mm-hmm. And like, it's helped that mental health, which is it's that much more important now as I get older to stay mentally healthy, because it's like, it's not about just me. I've got a family, I've got my wife, I've got my son, and like we were talking about running, and my wife had signed up for her first 5K. So we did the Disney 6K or 10K, 6 mile run a while back. It was a Disney Princess run.
Was this before or after you used Disney as your training ground?
Oh, yeah, this was after.
After, okay, got you.
Yeah, I definitely knew what I was doing. There's an hourglass lake, and that was all like
your training.
I think my footprints are still there because
That's crazy. That's awesome.
So, But the Princess weekend was like an entry level for my wife to get into it, right? Like she always said, I'll never run a race unless it's at Disney. I was like, okay. So
we're going to Disney.
And I was like, and if we're going, you're not doing the 5K, you're doing the 10K, right?
Which is 6 and 8 miles. That's no,
I know.
Most people don't ever run that in their life. So that's impressive.
I know. And with that, we weren't able to do it this year. So she signed up for another 5K. So like, she doesn't exactly have the bug to do it. Like she's not like, she keeps saying, I don't identify as a runner. I'm not a runner. I'm not a runner. I was like, it doesn't matter if you identify one or if you run and walk or whatever. You're just staying active. And she did her first 5K. Like she signed up for it. She trained for it. It was downpouring. It was around it was around the stadium and everything. And like, she was miserable, but happy at the same time. And it was like, I was just there for support. I was like, there's no way you're going to go to this and me not, like, I didn't want to run it with her. Because I've got a lot more experience and like, she's 5'4" tall. Like, so one stride for me is like 6 strides for her, so I didn't want to push her that way. I just wanted to support her.
But I got to say, man, I got to give her credit because when you have that goal, like you said, there's all these reasons why you tell yourself you can't do it. The day of the race for it to be downpouring is the reason why 50% of the people would have went, I'll do it next. Maybe I'll do it next year. So the fact that she grilled through not just a little sprinkle, but a downpour.
Oh my God.
Is impressive.
Yeah. And it was pretty awesome. And I could follow my iPhone. I watched her do her whole progress and, tried to embarrass her as she was coming down the finish line and everything. And it was really, really awesome. And what that has done has now been a little bit more contagious for my oldest, who is 8 years old. And they had a race.
I saw that.
Yeah. So they had like a fundraiser for funds for the school. And, you could donate one, money towards every lap that they do. And they said, hey, on average, the kids kind of peter out around 30 to 35 laps. Right. And it's just, let's say like, I don't know the exact distance, but it's not like they were on a track.
Yeah.
And so the day of afterwards, I get all this, get some notifications from friends that were there, that work at the school. And he gets off and he's glowing. Right. I was like, how many did you do? And he's like, I did 38.
Love that he went over the 35 that he pledged. So.
Yeah. He's like
something.
Yeah. And so he did 38 and he was ecstatic. And so we're like working on this summer. He's like, Dad, I want to train with you. Right. So now that's like, I think it really was my wife being the example, not necessarily me, because I've always been there, but he's like, now I'm like, I think it's contagious, right? Like that
shit rolls downhill, Bri, because there's no doubt with what you're telling me that not that you're the only reason your wife did it, but she doesn't identify as a runner, but she looks at you running marathons and half marathons and it's like, I think I could do 5K, which then turns your son into, I think I could run 38 laps. So even though it might not have been a direct you as the motivation, indirectly, there's no doubt that your family is watching what you're doing. So that's another reason why you now said on camera, you're going to ride a bike 75 miles.
Oh yeah.
You're feeling, I know you, now you're going to do it. And step one, like you said, sign up. That was my step one. And step two was print out your training. Once I printed out my training and put it on my fridge, I had to walk by my fridge. Every time I opened my refrigerator, I had to say, oh shit, you already said you're not only doing it, but this is how you're doing it. This is your first week of training. Get out there and run your 5 miles, your 6 miles, your 7 miles so you can get there.
Yeah. And, the furthest I've ever ridden my bike, because that's a bike ride, is 20 miles. Right.
Okay. Wow.
And that was years ago. And the one of the things that I didn't realize, because often I just go and do, is that like I don't even know how to change a tire or have a whatever, right? And so I was like, oh, I rode like 10 miles away and no one was there to help me, if I broke down. So
I mean,
like,
the truth is, if your front tire, you can fix it. Your back tire has an issue, you might be screwed.
okay, good to know. See, the more you know.
Yeah.
And so like I didn't want that was my next excuse, right? Like, what if I go on these long rides and I can't fix my tire or something like that? Should I do this?
You have your cell phone. I'm not letting that excuse sit. You got your cell phone.
But you hear me, right? Like,
I had all those excuses in my own head. So I sweat too much. One of my problems, I train on the same, when you said the trail you used to run, that's the Glassboro to Williamstown trail, you mean, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I trained for the marathon. And I sweat so much, Bri, that there were times, I'm a little embarrassed to say it, but there were times that I had to go off of the trail, take my shorts and shirt off, and wring them out and put them back on so I could continue to run. I'm hiding behind trees, wringing my clothes. So one of my excuses was I sweat too much. I don't know if I can do this. I sweat too much. Then I'm like, dude, you're running this in September, the end of September. You're not going to sweat too much. Shut up and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like now I'm accountable, which is another aspect of this, right? Like,
absolutely
creating the accountability. Now that I'm recorded saying like, I've been dilly-dallying, the next step for me is, when I get off of this, I'm going to sign up. I don't
doubt it. I don't doubt it.
You're going to have to hold me accountable. So
I will. No problem. Get ready for text messages.
Good. And that's another aspect of all of this, right? Like one of the things that I share with you is, my journey from, who I was health-wise. And I always keep this one picture. My wife might kill me for showing you this, but this was me and my wife.
Wow.
And that Brian looks like he ate this Brian.
That does not look like the same person, Brian.
Yeah. I mean, I was the highest I ever was 185 pounds. And the lowest I got after I decided to change everything was 187. So I lost 100 pounds.
Wait, the highest you were was 285.
Oh, 285. And then got down to 187 during COVID, actually, because I was already on a tear. But, like I had done my first triathlon and my doctor, I did my annual a few months after that. And he's like, you're almost pre-diabetes. I was like, what are you talking about? Like I run, I bike, I swim, like I do all this stuff. I'm healthy. And he's like, no. You may be able to do this, but you're not healthy. And so I switched everything. I hired one guy told me, often you got to put your money, you got to put a lot of invested in it, right? Investment in it.
So, do it. You put money out. If you're cheap like me, once you spend the money, you're like, shit, now I have to do this.
Exactly. So like I put $1,000 down, on personal training and nutrition with this one gym, and I changed my identity. Like all of a sudden I was just like, I am this. I might eat crap, but I compensate with better habits and everything. Like you can let go once in a while, but that's not who you are, right? I just had 13 years ago, Time Hop or whatever. I ate a Krispy Kreme donut burger. I'm like, today I'm like, oh God.
Sounds amazing and horrible for you.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I don't know if I could do that today. And it's maybe for some of the flavor, but it's just like,
nah. You wouldn't enjoy it. You wouldn't enjoy it like you did then.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, listen, you got to give yourself credit too, because first of all, you just said something that I didn't know that is pretty amazing. You lost the 98 pounds during COVID. So in a time where, when you look back in history, most people got fat and became alcoholics, you took that same time to achieve goals that most people don't achieve in the best times of life. You took one of the worst times in history and made it into something really good. So, dude, right there, you got to credit yourself as being a little bit different than the average individual.
Well, I shouldn't say I lost all of that during COVID. so I was on a smaller journey prior to COVID already. And I was down, I probably was around 250 the beginning of that year. And then I started losing. And then, you know, all of a sudden I had nothing to do, but I was home, I was stuck or whatever. So I started challenging myself. And so that's when I really got down. Like I lost another 30 pounds, you know, and there was all sorts of ways where I didn't want to do it, but I just knew I needed to, you know, and I built a home gym in my basement, and it wasn't large. It was like probably like 10 by 10. Right.
Yeah.
And I put quotes on the ceiling, right? Like for instance, you never, I think it was Captain America. Is like, you never know who's watching. Right. And there was one, and it's like, also, there's another one that is up there. Is like, you know, do something that your future self will thank you for, right?
I love that you follow quotes.
Yeah, yeah, and like it's like, or like my favorite one is exactly where, you know, like I'm doing floor work, and if like I just want to quit or I pass out or something like that, and I look up and it says like, if you didn't puke, you know, pass out or whatever, just
you're exactly where you should be.
Right. Yeah. Like just keep going. And like that's those systems, right? You're stronger than your excuses when you build out those like, what do you fall back to? And I call that bad day excellence, right? Like on my worst day where I don't want to wake up or I don't want to do anything, what am I doing? Right? How am I going to stay active? And I'm fortunate enough that I had inherited a treadmill. And because it was a coat rack at a friend's house, right?
Okay.
And so my bad day excellence plan is that I strap a 20-pound vest on my chest, put it on a high incline, 3 miles per hour, very slow, and I watch it move.
It's so funny, Brian. My beginning of my day every day is, when I say every day, Monday through Friday, the first thing I do when I get up is put my treadmill shoes on. Because once I put the shoes on, I have to do it. And I get down on the treadmill and I do 45 minutes on the highest incline possible on 3 speed. I don't wear the 20. I like the idea of the 20-pound vest. Yeah. But I do the same exact thing you're doing. And that's my baseline. There's sometimes days that I do more, but there's never days that I do less. I always get through that treadmill, then hit the sauna. My day starts and it's never a bad day.
Yeah. And, you know, the reason why I put on the vest, one, it helps because it's just weighing you down, but it also is kind of, it reminds me of the weight that I had, and I just don't want it. Like, you don't want this, you know? And I wake up, you know, this is sort of part of my identity. I wake up at 4:15 in the morning and I go down and like you, I set up my clothes the night before so that I wake up, I go to the bathroom, I put on the clothes, and then I go down to the gym. I spend like 20-30 minutes of stretching and flexibility, mobility and everything, like and prep, and then I lift or do cardio. And then if I'm like on days like this when I'm not talking to awesome people like you, I'm trying to find some way to be active on my lunch break, right? Like let me go outside and go for a walk and listen to an audiobook and learn something, or let me go sit on the bike and just pedal and do something, right? Just stay active. And this summer, I've got my son who's not going to be in camp the whole time. I set up a schedule for him. He's going to, you know, like he's got a couple of tests that he has to do every day. Yeah. But at 12 o'clock or whatever time, right? Like I set up, like that's gym time. Like, like we're going to do something, right? And I have to do it for him, right? So that
but then it benefits you too.
Exactly. Right.
It's going to work.
Yeah. So like that accountability is super important, but there's going to be stuff where like, hey, we're just going to go walk a mile, or we're going to go jog or bike ride, or, you know, like, I thought of like, let me create an obstacle course and I'll race you in it or something.
Love it. Just let's play Army. Who cares?
Yeah.
You're the good guy. I'm the bad guy. Whatever we do, we're doing it.
I like it. I'm gonna do a water balloon fight.
There you go. It's active. It doesn't matter. It's active. Activity equals productivity in my world. So
nice.
keep them active. So when I met you, man, two of the things that you really helped me with, or that kind of were like crazy when we met, and you told me you would just run a marathon. You had told me how much weight you had lost. I was 240 pounds and knew I needed to get to 180 to have a really solid chance at running a marathon. So that's part of the reason why you were my inspiration. Like, okay, here's a guy just like me who lost it already. I can do this. And then number two, when we were talking, you said to me, hey man, do you know who the knees over toes guy is?
Oh my God. It saved my life.
And I had just recently found Ben online and had started doing, all I was doing at the time was the backwards walking. But when another guy says to me, like, man, do you find the knees over toes guy? Because he was a big help in what I did. It was like, man, okay, I'm on the right track. Tell me a little bit about how you came across Ben and what you kind of put into your workout that you learned from the knees over toes guy.
So I actually didn't find out his program until after I did the marathon. Like,
okay,
the marathon happened. My knee was the size of a grapefruit, and I was like, I need to find something to get this done. And you know, like I need to bulletproof my knees, because I had done Bulgarian split squats are wonderful for really helping out that whole area. So I was doing them, but if I wanted to continue to do this, especially as I got older, right, I needed something. And after like a quick couple of Googling searches or whatever, I found one of his like videos. And then, you know, like I got his workout, right, for like $20 or $25, right? Here's your PDF of these exercises. And I can tell you, like, all of a sudden I started doing that. And then like, all of a sudden, like I wasn't having these weird pains that I was having elsewhere, like, because I was doing, you know, like the knees over toes squats, or I was doing a lot of the stuff because it starts opening up a lot, right?
Lower back.
Yeah. And
that was where my problems were, more than my knees. My problems were more in my lower back and my hips. But doing all the knees over toes training made all of that go away. To where really, you know, when I told my wife I was going to run a marathon, she told me I was crazy because she knew I couldn't run more than 5 miles without hurting myself. And I'm telling her I'm going to run 26 and be okay through it. The knees over toes guy is really what made all of those problems. I felt it. That was what made all my problems go away.
Yeah. And every morning I roll out. So I have a foam roller. So I do this rolling, and then I do active warm up, which is, you know, a series of A skips, B skips, C skips, you know, pulling, you know, like, pulling, pushing, you know, just stuff that isn't intense, but keeps you moving. And then I finish my warm up with the first 4 exercises of knees over toes. So that's the far away calf, or like you got the tibialis raises.
Yep. Do them all the time.
25 of those, then 25 of single calf raise extended, then 25 tibs, and then finish with knees over toes calf raises. I do that every day, every single day. And even
the one that I add to that, I do exactly what you do. The only one I do that it doesn't sound like you do is the standing on the step and touching my heel to the step below. And I do 25 of those on each foot. And then the rest, I do exactly what you're doing. And then 2 to 3 times a week, I walk backwards on the treadmill. Keep the treadmill off and just walk backwards on it for 10 of my 45 minutes.
And that blows up your hamstrings and everything. Like, it's insane. And it's so like, you could do 5 minutes, you could do 10 minutes, right? Like, and just do something, right? And like, I found one day I was so bored with like the workout program that I was doing, right? I was like, or I found like I was being distracted by my phone. I was like, I should be sitting here. I should be doing something. So like, I was like, fine, let me do the backwards walk on the treadmill while being distracted by the phone. Like, at least I'm doing something, right?
Yeah, you're active while you're being distracted.
So excuse. There's no excuse why you couldn't do that, right? And so when I say like that has the knees over toes open up my eyes to like that, plus David Goggins talking about how like stretching saved his life. I was like, I need to start
long stretching too, not just a quick couple of second stretch. Goggins is a 30-minute on each part stretcher.
I know.
Who's carrying the boats? Who's carrying these boats?
Yeah. and so like I've used that to my advantage of like it's not just something that I just have to do, right? No, I trick myself by inspiring myself of like, I'm doing this because I want to be able to do this later, right? Like it's nothing about now. It is totally so that you're an inspiration for this whole million-hour life, right? I want to be there, right? I joked with you, right? I want to see 2100.
I love you want to see 20 equals 126 years, you said?
Or maybe 116 years.
No, 116 would only be a million hours. 115 years is a million hours.
Right.
So if you're going to 2100, you're going to live more than a million hours. You're going to live like 1,150,000 hours, which is amazing and sounds crazy right now to people who hear us talking about this. Yeah. But if they do a little bit of research and understand escape velocity, longevity escape velocity, a lot of people who are smarter than me believe if you can live to 2036, there will be chances for you to extend your life to a crazy age that most people, no one's lived so far. I think the oldest anyone's lived is like 120, but a lot of people are going to live that long, even though right now it seems like craziness to talk about. And something else too, even if not, right? Even if we don't make it to my million-hour goal, if we make it to 80 and we're in great shape at 80 and we're able to play with our great grandkids and have a little pickleball competition, that sounds way better than watching myself decline over the last 10 years of my life. So the goal number 2 is hitting that. I want to see my grandson turn 75. Goal number 1 is however old I want to live, I want to be healthy doing it. And it takes things like knees over toes now, not when you're 78.
Yeah.
But when you're in your 30s and in your 40s.
Yeah. And what's really crazy is it's one of those things that, if someone else can do it, why couldn't you? Right? Like someone has done it. Someone has lived to 120. Okay. Yep. Then yeah, absolutely. And, like I reached out to you because I thought of you because I read this one book, The Self-Managing Company. And there's one chapter that talks about how Dan Sullivan, the author of the book, just he sets these goals, right? Really huge goals. And it talks about goal setting, and the reason why you set these goals really high, like almost everyone thinks like, oh my God, I don't have enough time to do this. But like no one ever like, hey, I want to do XYZ, right? Like I want to see 2100 or I want to run a marathon or, like something really difficult right now. No, you're not setting that goal for right now. But if you set a proper like timeline or like, all right, I want to ride a century ride, or 200 miles. I want to ride 200 miles, am I going to be able to do that tomorrow? No. But am I going to be able to do that now? No. What if I say in 5 years, I want to do it? Oh my God.
Then you can't say, I can't do that. You can do anything in 5 years if you set your mind to it today.
Yeah. And that's that works for personal, that works for business, that works everywhere. Just set a proper, set your goal all the way out, right? Your timeline all the way out. And, and then it seems feasible because then you get rid of the negative talk, and you end up, if you love the journey, like you love the process and everything, you end up finding the destination so easily. You just happen to be there, and I think that's lately in my mind, I've been like, okay, so I really do love tinkering around with this or that, and I've been applying that I to fatherhood. I've been applying that to personal well-being. I I watched Blue Zones or, the
Me
gut.
too. I love Blue Zones.
Yeah. The gut
I
health.
bought the cookbook. I bought the Blue Zones cookbook. Now my wife cooks out of the Blue Zones cookbook.
Yeah, and you know what's really funny is a long time ago, my wife and I were doing the like home meal delivery service, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it was like Blue Apron or whatever.
One of those.
Yeah, but one day there were purple potatoes, and now I see that, and I was like, oh my God, that's gonna help me. I was like, that is gonna help me because there's a lot of
was that the Okinawa, Japan that believes that that's the big part of their diet that makes them live longer?
Yeah, and what it is like educating people about macros is important, right? Like just make sure you have a good ratio. But what people don't understand is the micros, which are the vitamins in those foods, right? That's why whenever someone, whenever someone who knows me wants to lose weight, they automatically just say like, oh, but
what diet should I do?
Yeah, what diet should I do? Or what? Or like people think of diet of like taking away things.
Yeah,
I say I don't care what you don't need to take anything away.
Add this.
Yeah, just shove a whole bunch of good stuff too, right? And my the other day, my wife bought me a butternut squash, even though like in the grocery list I had squash, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't want the butternut, but all of a sudden I got this huge gourd, right? I was like, what am I going to do with this? Right. So I cook it up and she would never eat it, but I cooked with all these spices and everything. And she's like, all right, let me try it. And she's like, wow, that is really good.
I like butternut. I didn't even know I like butternut squash. I like butternut squash.
And I told her, I was like, I know you're going to hate me for doing this, but you're getting this much fiber. You're getting this much protein. You're getting this much, and knowing that, I was like, oh, are you tired? Go eat this, right? Use food as fuel and it will help. And that's like the stretching, the food, that's all going to help me. But now, in addition to all that, because I've trained myself to like always look for improvement there, I've been working on my mental health, right? And so I have a good friend of mine, actually, who was one of my trainers at that gym. He does a lot of mental health, like seminars and everything.
Okay.
So Tuesday, I signed up for one of his things. It's like a constant state of flow and like how breathing can help you and everything.
Yep.
And
I'm big on it.
Yeah. Like he was a big advocate for always telling me like, just visualize you doing it. And if you continue to reinforce that visualization, you will find yourself doing it, and it's
right. When you can send me a link to him. I use YouTube for that. I follow a lot of people on YouTube just for the same kind of mental health motivation, but I would love to go to someone local who is actually doing it.
Yeah.
I'm big on what he's talking about. I love the mental motivation. I'm big on breathing. I don't know if you've discovered Wim Hof yet.
Yeah, oh yeah. I bought an ice bath because of Wim Hof.
I love it. Me too. I got an ice bath myself. How often have you used it?
What?
How often have you used it?
Oh, I haven't used it that often because I just got it 2 weeks ago.
Gotcha.
Right? When I finished the marathon, I filled my tub up with ice. I hated it, but I did it. And then, the 20 minutes later, I was in the car because I had to go somewhere. I was like, that helped with recovery then. And
everything.
and then keep on doing it because it's like, there's so many benefits.
So many. I mean, I do cold showers every day, but I try and do 2 to 3 times a week where I get in the ice bath. And the days I do, most people think about like, as soon as I get out, I'm going to feel great. And that is true. But the reason I do it is the way I feel 6-8 hours later, not 20 minutes after I get out. And it really did. I did exactly what you said. I ran the marathon. My wife's like, what do you want to do? We'll do anything. Let's go eat. I'm like, you know what? What I want to do is go get in the ice bath. 7 minutes. And then I really felt like the next day I could have run another 20 miles. Maybe not another marathon. But I thought I was going to be devastated physically for a week. And sauna and ice bath, and boom, next day I could have got up and done anything.
Yeah, that's it takes a lot of mental strength too, right?
It was like you said, it was way more mental I thought I was going to have trouble getting over the physical ability to run a marathon. And when it
Yeah.
was done, it was like, oh no, it was really the mental hurdles that I had to get over that
Yeah.
were way easier than training my body. That yes, you can do 16 after you did 15 and then 18 after you did 16.
Yeah. Well, the program that I was listening to was actually led, like it was audio, like instructor led running. And, a lot of the instructors would say, oh, well, you're going to get to a 10K left and a 5K left. Like, and this training is that just, there was a lot of warm up beforehand, right? Like,
yeah.
And as soon as you start doing that, right? Like you do sighting, okay, I just got to get to this lamppost, like, or I just got to get to this. My huge reward during that race, which was so funny, was like, all right, when I get to about 16 to 18 miles, I had 2 frozen Uncrustables in my vest.
Jeez, I love the Uncrustables. A lot of people have the Uncrustables.
I opened it up. People were laughing at me, and you'd almost think I had an Italian hoagie on me, right? But they're all laughing because they see me pull it out, and I'm just like eating it or whatever. But like that was like my celebration. It was like, you did it. You got all the distance, and this is helping you fuel the next, right? Like
at mile 15, you probably didn't care anymore that your headphones ran out of juice. You're like, I got an Uncrustable in my fanny pack.
Yeah,
going down.
All about the systems and trying to motivate yourself, right? And like it's so rewarding too to think about it. Now, I'm not the type of person that ends up putting that sticker on my car, right?
Me neither.
Because for me, it's just self-improvement, right? Like yes, I've done it. I look back at those pictures. I was really skinny, right? Like I looked at my face and I looked like Skeletor.
Too skinny. Like, wait, did I lose too much weight here?
Exactly. I was like, I just could not believe it. And I saw that and I was like, you did something amazing, but if you wanted to do it again, like stay where you are. Don't focus so much on that. Fuel your body because you can do it, right?
I have a feeling after a 75-mile bike ride, Brian might have Iron Man in his future.
I don't know about that. We'll see.
Add some swimming, Brian. You got this.
Yeah. Well, my legs are like cement blocks. My family laughs at me every time we get in a pool and they start floating. They're like, "Dad can't do this," and I'm like, "Yeah, I can. I'm gonna need a buoy. If you could put that under my legs, then maybe I'll make it."
It's funny. I got a buddy who does the Ironman. And just to find out, like, wait, so after you did what I did a marathon, then you ride a bike 100 miles an hour or 100 miles, and then you swim, I think it's 3 to 5 miles. Sounds crazy to me. But the hardest part to me sounds like the swimming. Like, I think I can get through if I train myself, not just do it, but if I train myself, the bike ride. Yeah. It's the swimming that I don't think I could ever do.
Well, and where I was doing so I did the Brigantine sprint triathlon, and that was actually it was a 1/4 mile swim.
Okay.
And it was in the bay. Okay. So the biggest thing that ended up happening to me, like the first race, I did it. It took forever. I kind of like when you get to the boat ramp, like apparently it was just all like 3 feet of muck. So I took 1 and 2 steps and I was like, I'm going to die if I just walk this. So I beached myself like a whale. It's like, as soon as I felt like the concrete hit my chest, I was like, now I can stand up. Right. And I almost collapsed there on the beach. And I sat there in transition, getting ready to get on the bike. My wife and my son were sitting there right next to it. And I was like, I got the hard part done, and then like I crushed it on the bike and I finished it on the run. Right. And the marathon. But now I think like my bike, I'll do fine. My legs are like ham hocks. They're huge, like they could do it. But I think like everybody always passed me on the run because it's swim, bike, run. So it's just like,
you're just getting through it. Like you said, you're not trying to dominate the run. You're just trying to get through the finish line.
But now I'm like, run's my best part, right? Like I'm going to finish and pass everyone if I do it, and
now you're a runner.
Yeah. Well, like it's something that like, I know I can do it, And so I want to do this 75-mile ride. And then, like, yeah, you're right. Like maybe I switch it up and do an Olympic triathlon. I have a very good friend of mine who actually got me into the triathlons. He competes in the world half Ironman for the actual, like, the worlds he competes. And he's amazing. And it's so funny. Like I would run with him and we would talk. And then I realized he was not getting breathy at all.
And you're like trying to get words out as he's like, just having a conversation.
Exactly. And we're like, we're running in Camden, which isn't exactly the best neighborhoods. And I was like, man, I'm either going to have to trip him. Yeah. I'm either going to have to trip him or actually, shut up and keep going, Yeah. But it really, having the support network, right? Like having people around you, the community, like in Blue Zones, they talk about the community aspect
it's
of
all
it.
about. It's not about, you think like what people do to live to be over 100 would be more about diet and exercise. And it was mainly about having a community, not stopping working, which everyone wants to retire when they're 62, not realizing that the longer you keep it going, the more likely you are to live longer. But it was mostly about having a purpose and having community around you.
Yeah. And you said, hey, I want to be older and be able to play pickleball, right? Here's
I've never played pickleball, by the way.
Yeah. Here's a fun fact. So they did a huge study and they found that people who ran increased their life by 2 or 3 years, right? People who swam did a little bit, like had longer lives by a little bit longer than that. Yep. But the most impact to your lifespan was racket sports. But they're not saying, they are not saying that it's tennis.
Could be ping pong.
Could be ping pong. Could be tennis. Could be badminton. Could be pickleball. In the Blue Zones, they talk about pickleball. But what they found was, again, it is all of those solitary sports like swimming, biking, and running. They're all solitary sports.
Yeah, but can't do it with someone else.
Racket, you're talking with people, you're building community, you're relating, and that connection is what helped elongate. And it just talks about all of that, and that's why, like, talking to people like you, and building out your network of people and surrounding yourself with people who just, like, they don't all have to want to live a million hours, no. But you want people that are like, hey, I'm active. What's the latest thing that you've done?
Healthy.
Yes. I
always say it this way. We die in one of two ways. We fall off a cliff at the end of our life, or we see ourselves decline until we're not alive anymore. And I just want to keep it going to where it's more an abrupt happening when it happens. Not, I'm going to watch myself lose all this forever.
Yeah. No. I'm going to see, on the future news, Eric Bunce jumps off cliff,
Yeah, Eric died not doing nothing. I also believe in, I don't want to die from nothing. I would rather die like, oh, idiot was nice. He almost lived to his goal at 114. He died hang gliding. Okay, right. I'll take that over. Well, he just did nothing and eventually withered away to death.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of community, Bri, and what we're talking about, I'm gonna dangle a little carrot for you. So you're gonna do your 75-mile bike ride. Then if you do decide to train for triathlons again, even though I'm telling you I'm a person who thinks I'm not a great swimmer, but I can swim. I don't think I'm gonna drown. It's just not my strong point. I will train with you to do a triathlon and have it be a goal that, like you said, you got a community, you got other people around you that are fighting for the same thing, an accountability partner to go, dude, I did this today. What did you do? What do you got to do? How you doing on your diet? Here's where I'm at. So dangle that carrot if it would help to have someone to do it with. Get through next goal, and then the following goal I'm in with you.
Yeah, you just gave me goosebumps because now I already thought of a one that you and I are going to do. Because
I'm in. I'm already telling you I'm in.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the 75, and now I am gonna sign up for one of those. one of those tries because
Love it.
And you're gonna do it. You're gonna be like, oh my God, I just did it. Yeah.
Right. Because it's something now where it's like something I wouldn't have thought I could do. But after doing the marathon, now it really is like, no, how do I got to set my brain to get there? I can do anything after doing something that no one thought I would be able to do, including myself, until I actually did it. So now it's like, what do I want to do? All right, put a plan in place, put it on paper, figure out how to get there, and then just don't give yourself the excuses to give up. So
right. Yeah. And I think we should try to wrangle somebody else too. Like someone else in our community that we could get to be crazy.
I would love that. I would love it to be our mutual friend who wants to turn his health around.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
I would love that. I would love to help him have a story of from where he's at to where he wants to be. So
we just have to
and
get
also,
over.
Listen, I want to live to be 115. I want to be hanging around with dudes that I really like, enjoy my time with.
Yeah.
And you and our mutual friend are people who I hope, you guys won't be as old as me. You'll be 105-ish when I'm 115-ish.
Yeah.
But would love to still be hanging out then. So let's help him turn it around.
Well, it just so happens that hang gliding accident was a twofer. It was you and me,
There you go. I'll take it, dude. We went down together. These idiots that ran a marathon and then did a triathlon together died together jumping off a cliff.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Little Thelma and Louise.
There you go. So speaking of longevity, I know you are in my mindset. Now you told me you even want to live longer than my goal is. Do you do anything now as far as supplements? I know you're younger than me, so you might not have got into the supplements the way I have. Are you taking anything that you think can extend telomeres or better your health other than just having a good diet?
So it's funny you say that. I was doing a lot of different things. Like I had a little bit of an iron deficiency, fish oil, iron supplements, daily vitamins. I actually have a little bit of flatulence issue, right? Like, and there was like a whole bunch of other supplements that I started adding, right? Then I watched the one documentary that came out earlier this year about the gut health, right?
Yeah,
and
I love that one.
So I thought back. Yeah, so I thought back to when I was, doing a lot of the on the beginning of this big journey, right? I was actually primarily vegan during that time, and I was like, wow, everything was like really gelling, and everything was great. I had a lot of energy, and I'm not vegan now. But what I started doing was like, I stopped most of those supplements and have started really concentrating on the diversity of my food to help find those nutrients. So those are those macros or the micros that I'm talking about. So I, instead of just doing a protein shake that had a banana, protein powder, and almond milk, right? I started adding spinach and chia seeds. With my oats, right? I make sure that I have a certain percentage of or milligrams or grams of blueberries, for antioxidants. So like I don't take anything other than a daily vitamins, right?
Yeah, multivitamin.
And I listened to my body, and I was like, okay, well, this may sound gross, but like, if you poop and it drops down, you're not eating the right food. If you poop floats, you're getting a good diversity, and your body was able to absorb everything.
I mean, listen, that's some of the stuff we learned in that gut documentary. Like, poop is important. I wouldn't go as far as they went in the end of that documentary, where they were actually taking supplements of poop pills to try and change their gut flora.
Oh, I did.
But it's important. There's no way. Everybody does it, and it does mean something.
And
pay attention.
And it's one of those things that we don't talk about, right? Like everybody poops, but no one wants to talk about it. But at the same time, if you just love tweaking and love the process, you'll find yourself at the destination, right? I think I mentioned that earlier, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm like, well, let me just try this, right? I stopped taking iron. I stopped really drinking caffeine. I stopped doing all this. And I was like, Well, let me drink a gallon of water a day. Let me make sure that I have, XYZ vitamins, right? Like, let me get vitamin D. Let's get outside. Vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin B, right?
And you can get it all in Whole Foods. Like, you don't
Exactly.
have to take supplements to get.
Yeah.
There are certain things that as you get older, in 5 to 7 years, when stuff starts, I'll teach you some stuff that I've learned from my longevity doctor and some people that I follow on things that you might take to help extend things a little bit. But right now, you're doing the right thing. Get rid of the processed food, add more whole foods, get your vitamins from that. Some things I learned that I really have been big on, like getting rid of seed oils and stuff in my life. And then just eating cleaner. But then there are a rash of supplements that I won't go over now, but there's some things that are out there that as we get along further in everyone knowing more about longevity, I think will be things that'll just be a part of people's diet.
Yeah. I mean, just a result of getting older, how old are the greatest sprinters in the world, right? Like, they're like 20 something, right?
Yeah.
How old are some of these like long distance amazing athletes? They're not 20. They're old, right?
Yeah.
And the reason being is because our muscle fibers, right? We have two quick twitch and then slow
twitch. Yeah.
Our slow twitch muscle fibers tend to develop over our age, right?
Yep.
And so, so that's why, like, I know as I continue to age, I lower my expectations of one thing, but it doesn't mean I compensate with other things, right? Every single year that I've done the Broad Street run, I got faster.
That's
right?
Cool.
This year, I did not, because I decided to just have fun this year, and I totally did, right? Like,
I do that once in a while. Can't always be about goals. Otherwise, you won't enjoy the journey, like you said.
Exactly.
Not about the destination.
Yeah, and I'm still waiting on my soft pretzel. After every race, I should get a soft pretzel. I think all the races that I've done is that, and this year, they had hard pretzels. I was like, no, right? So I stopped at Wawa.
Uncomfortable, damn it! Uncomfortable.
Yeah. Like, it's those little rewards, that end up making things so much sweeter.
Yep.
So,
Brian, listen, man, this has been an awesome hour. Anything you want to add to this? Any, last minute thoughts you have, or things that you didn't think we talked about that you wanted to get out there?
Not in particular, but the only thing that I mentioned earlier, and I want to just really put home, is, the hardest thing is that first step, right? So just do it, right? Don't, like, if you're ever thinking about, like, hey, I want to change my diet or something like that, or I want to start working out, let me do it on Monday. No, go put on, just walk outside to your mountain. Just do something small, because when I first was like really, really heavy, I started with 5 minutes a day, and I woke up and did 5 minutes, and then and now I wake up and I
routine.
Yeah,
but you couldn't have been that big guy doing this whole routine. It's kind of like build a good habit and then stack on it. Like you said, drinking a gallon of water. That's where I think everybody should start. You think you're overweight and you need to lose weight. The first thing you do is cut out any drink that you drink that's not water and make yourself drink a gallon of water a day. Just that. And then a week, 2 weeks later, add something else to it. And then a week, 2 weeks later, add something else to it. Nobody can make all these changes right away, but over time, you just add and add and add, and you're going to get to where you want to be.
Yeah, you never want to take away. You just want to add. That's it. Is if you think about, I am just improving, I am just adding to who I am. You find your progress so much easier, because as soon as you try to take away who you are, you don't know. You just lose. Motivation only gets you to the first bad day, right? Yep. So if you keep deferring, whatever you're losing, instead of adding stuff, you end up just
discipline trumps motivation every time.
Absolutely
true. Make yourself continue to do it, and don't take big steps back. Everybody's got to take a step back every once in a while, but don't let it be keep the momentum going forward, and you'll get there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna send you as soon as I sign up for this ride. I'm gonna message you my thing, and I'm gonna ask you because you're supposed to raise money. So
I'm in. I'm your first donor. I'm in.
awesome.
You commit to it, and I'm committing to put my money where my mouth is. So
awesome. That's
Brian,
wonderful.
this has been awesome, man. Let's do this again in the future. After you run your 75-mile race, then let's get back on and talk about it, and then talk about what's the next step.
All right, that sounds like a plan, because the next step is we're gonna do a try. So
there you go. All right, again, Brian Walsh, my motivation, student for life. I love that definition, student for life. Let's talk again soon. You have a great day.
You too. Take care, Eric.
All right, man.
Bye.